Hi, pals. Hi, pals, and welcome to the Disneyland Paris Show. Here's your hosts, Lucy, Chris, and Hugh. Gosh. And now, Disneyland Paris News.
St. Patrick's Day.
Pin trading.
Which one's mine? Iger and Demaro visit the park and like it.
New Bogs in Discoveryland. Toilets, sorry.
I can't believe you got the toilet one.
And because just like Chris likes to do the toilet news, and I said before we started, you on that one, and he said not that. He said I don't want to be known for the toilets. but then I think you do, really, don't you?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
Can I just, before you say your bit, can I just give a quick disclaimer that I forgot to charge the battery for our camera, so we're on the laptop camera today, which is why we're a little bit dark. If it charges up neatly in the next 20 minutes, half an hour or so, then I might change over, but we'll see what happens.
Audio only listeners, you're fine. You're good. You're gravy. That's all
You can't
working.
see us like you normally do.
Right, we've got some countdowns going on in the chat. I can see already 127 days for the Mabbott family, 219 days for Elgin Morgan, 21 days for voiceover guy, tomorrow for Susie.
Golly.
Wow.
Tomorrow. Can you imagine?
I can't.
Can you imagine?
We accidentally started pricing up Disney cruises this afternoon, and in a bit,
I didn't.
I'm going to tell you how you accidentally price up Disney cruises,
Ooh,
but not right now because I think we've things to do.
You haven't said hey there, hi there, ho there.
Hey there, hi there, ho there, Disney fans, and welcome to another Disneyland Paris show. I think we have things to do.
Who are they?
Well,
Poop, poop. All aboard, please.
oh yeah. Oh man.
Oh, let's start again. Come on.
All aboard, please. Today, first in the chat was the Dunn family, who said quite rightly, "Yay, first in chat." First in the chat. And then we had Mel from listening in each week. You're always first in the chat. Mel says to the Dunn family. It's an impressive award to collect. Hi to Pamela and to Daisy, and also to Jimmy and John and Susie, who says in all caps, as we said before, "We go tomorrow." Elgin and Laura. Who else we got? Aaron is here, as is Scottish Claire and Emma and Mark Chester and Moritz and Wits Wanderlust and Emily and Cheryl and Roz and we're nearly there. Voiceover guy, Sarah, Team Confetti and Seb and Main Street Princess. Just in time.
Me.
7 weeks for Main Street Princess until their first DLP trip. Oh, of
think that was everyone.
2023.
I think
That
that
was her first ever.
Sorry if I missed anyone. I don't think I did.
Sarah's got 46 days to Walt Disney World. 245 to DLP. This is what I like. Stack them up. Time was, we used to have them stacked up like that, didn't we? But we're almost certainly going
Like
for
pancakes.
certainly going in August, I think, when all the hellish academia is out of the way. Sorry, I literally...
Hellish academia.
About 15 minutes before I came down here to record this, I was sat on my laptop writing. I've written 994 words of my current assignment. You'll be glad to know.
Hello also to Lewis and Jen Wren.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
I've got a trip report today, one from a few weeks ago that I think I mentioned. We've had a few questions as well.
We
to
have
have a bit of a look at. And
some we can't
try
answer.
to answer. Yeah, we'll see what we do. Maybe you guys in the chat can help.
We'll throw it out to you. Hello to the Solo Show, who's joining us again.
Hey!
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Right.
Hi.
What happens next then?
Let's do this one.
Oh, okay.
Hey, ole! It's showtime! All together! Your tiki cup in your tiki cup. Well, you made yourself a beverage or drink it up from your tiki cup.
I'm drinking blackcurrant today, and blackcurrant has tasted weird for months, and I think it was a post-COVID thing. because this tastes like good old-fashioned blackcurrant.
Do you know, speaking of COVID flavours, as you may well recall, about a year ago I had a can of Pepsi at a friend's son's birthday party, and it tasted rotten, really horrible. I'm glad to say at the same person's birthday party last week, I had a can of Pepsi, and it was popping. All the flavours were there.
It's popping
Pepsi
off.
has returned. The world can go back to normal.
I never realised just how citrusy a Diet Pepsi actually is. It was not something that I noticed at all, but it's actually closer to lemonade than I realised. There you go.
I just want to draw our attention on Mother's Day, I may add, to Lewis Morgan's comments that says the wife is selfishly 7 months pregnant. So no Disney trips for us for a while. I think your wife might frame that as my husband selfishly got me pregnant 7 months ago, and now we can't go on Disneyland Paris trips. Stop blaming the woman.
That's 7 months. You probably
Am I
still got another
sounding-
month worth of being able to go. You
Am I
just get a trip
sounding
in now for the next couple of weeks.
Bitter today. I feel like I'm sounding bitter today.
Let's do some news.
Yeah.
Shall
Okay. Yeah.
So the first headline was St. Patrick's Day. Should we go with that one?
Mm.
And there's a new photo. What was it? I'm reading this like I know, but Lucy's written the news.
Okay.
Photo location on Central Plaza.
And it looked great. It was very, very green. And it was this big arch. It wasn't a character location. It was just I don't think we call them selfie spots anymore, do we? Because it was a bit bigger than a selfie spot would be. But it was a spot for you to take pictures of your friends and family. And it did look really, really good.
Cool.
There was some Irish dancing in Billy Bob's.
Nice.
There were leprechauns in the village. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I suspect they weren't real leprechauns.
Were they very big?
They were about 5'10".
About the size of a.
Your
But
average.
that's like Tommy Steele
5'10",
in,
did you say?
in
I would
Finian's
say-
Rainbow.
I would say the size of your average equity member. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, like Tommy Steele in Finian's Rainbow.
Yeah.
He's a leprechaun in that, isn't he?
I'm 5'10".
It's just his magic going, so he's like human sized.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a magic size, Hugh.
Mm.
5'10" is the magic number.
Indeed.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
There were shamrocks everywhere. They were doing the little gobbers, the little projecting green projections all over all the buildings. This is in the village particularly. The village usually takes the brunt of these one-off celebrations in this way. But they were serving in the park. They were serving Guinness
Ooh.
outside at a stand outside Plaza Gardens.
Okay. Cool.
So for one day only, you could drink a Guinness in Disneyland Paris.
I was out in Leeds yesterday with some friends, and I was getting all the alcohol-free beers, and then someone said, "Oh, there's an alcohol-free Guinness," and I said, "No, you're all right, thanks."
Apparently it's all right.
He probably is, but I'm just,
if you like Guinness.
I'm just
apparently.
not that into Guinness.
I like Guinness cake. Does that count?
Yes.
Good, because I do.
Emma Sylvester says DLP are trying to get back on side with the Irish after offending everyone with the Royal Pub.
Downright. And do you know, weirdly, there was Irish dancing at Billy Bob's, as I think I've just mentioned. I didn't see any mention of the Royal Pub. Now, Billy Bob's is like a Western bar, saloon. You usually see line dancing on the big dance floor there. So I wonder why they didn't do that. But the Irish don't really like the British, do they?
No one does. I don't.
No.
No.
Yeah. Not at
Absolutely.
That was a generalisation, and we apologise.
Was it? Anyway, so they also premiered the Fab Five's Disney 100 outfits in Paris for the first time. Not world premiere, but the first time we've had them in Paris. So we saw all the kind of powder blue and gold, powder blue and silver kind of look, very pale lilac. Have you seen this? Have you seen this?
Have you seen this? You heard about this?
all. I think so. I think I've seen it this week, yes.
And then there was a very green firework pre-show.
Ah.
Projections on the castle.
Ah.
There you go.
Nice.
Green is the theme.
Ah.
Green and serene. Susie's saying, have they put the boats back into Small World yet? Really hoped it would be open for us. Now,
I have Small World news.
yes?
I tend to stay away from construction news because if you start pulling at construction threads, it goes on forever and some of it's quite dull. But I did notice today, yes, the boats are back in the water.
Woohoo.
And You know the little cutouts on the fountain of all the children and the boat? The fountain as you go in? They're all back.
Back, baby. Pamela sent us a message
Yes.
and said that it was no longer listed as like under refurbishment. Is that right? Something like
Yes,
that?
she did, yes.
Which hints that it's, well,
Maybe, potentially, possibly, going to reopen at some point soon.
well, Pamela said, so fingers crossed for May,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure the link there. Is Pamela going in May? Was that why she said that?
I'm not sure, possibly.
But maybe, Susie. Tomorrow, could it be open tomorrow?
Probably not.
Sorry,
not.
we don't think so.
What if
I hope it is. I really do.
they were doing a soft opening, like just to make sure it was all working, and there just happened to be 3 rather attractive looking Yorkshire people. Well, 2 Yorkshire people and 1 minute Yorkshire toddler. And they thought they looked like they could try this ride out for us. Get a premiere of the changes.
Still don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, what if the ceiling's black, boys? What if the ceiling's black? Oh, you know, that kind of
What if you couldn't
greyed
you
out.
can't see the ceiling?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look
because
like it's there.
I inspected the one in Florida very carefully this time, and it's kind of this charcoal greyed out kind of thing. So I think that the panels are still there, but there's something about the way they've lit it and kind of shadowed it that you can't see it. Let's hope.
I'd still look, though. I'd still want to look. It's part of the charm of that ride. I'd be gutted if that ceiling's gone.
Oh, so Pamela's saying, I checked again and there's nothing under refurb that date. So that's what it is. So it's still down for refurbishment until was it May the 1st, did you say, Pamela, in that message?
Right.
Sorry, I've forgotten. So yeah, okay, so that makes sense. So
putting 2 and 2 together,
That's
seems
what it looks.
likely, unless of course they then add it in.
Yeah, they could
later
extend
on
it, couldn't they?
And extend it, yeah.
Yeah.
What you could do, Susie, though, is you could take some earphones with you and play It's a Small World into your ears whilst going on Pirates of the Caribbean and shut your eyes and pretend you're in Small World.
You could play my version.
Oh yes, your version
No.
is superb.
Right, I'm just gonna
Possibly my favourite thing.
I'm gonna play that for you all.
ever.
Let me just give me a second.
Give you a second.
Yeah.
Okay. We can just fill for a minute.
Put that lift music on.
Oh, lift music. You've got to give me some kind of warning here. Okay.
Well, I'll just talk while he does that. I'll talk. I went on to get some photos off my photo pass thing from Walt Disney World and noticed that they'd randomly put some Mary Blair artwork on there to celebrate International Women's Day, which I was
I
rather
love a bit
pleased
of Mary
about.
Blair artwork.
See what we've got. See if we can show you this. So yeah, they
look
they
at
were
that.
celebrating 3.
And they put these into your photo pass.
These are in my photo pass. So they were celebrating Leota Toombs, who was an Imagineer who worked on the Haunted Mansion, and she was, what's the word? Immortalised in Madame Leota. And then they've got Mary Blair doing an around the world thing, which I love, and then Harriet Burns, who worked on Tiki Room.
Oh my word! I want all of those out
And you
printed.
can't see any of them.
They're-
I think I am entitled
Yeah,
to
it
print
looks like
them
it.
because
I
they
think yeah.
they've gone on my photo app.
We should get some high quality ones of those to put into the Patreon show giveaway. That's enough of that. Thank you very much.
There's a good bit at the end. Right. Just listen to this. Lucy hates that. She just shakes her head when I play that.
I truly love it. The amount of effort that has gone into creating that piece of music.
That's had 5.8 thousand views.
Wow.
I didn't realise. Whoa.
Susie says that's exactly how Dan hears it.
Didn't somebody put a comment under once that was like, this music's not the original, it's been doctored or something?
No, that was on my Cliff. That was on my Cliff Richard video. Look
yeah.
for Cliff Richard's. Just Cliff Richard and my name, Hugh Rain.
They were furious.
I did like a shred video of him at Wimbledon, and yeah, a lot of his fans were not happy and were just pointing out that it was not real. A lot of people thought it was real.
Solo Shows just said, I need a copy of that recording. Where can I find it?
On my YouTube channel, Hugh Rain, and there'll be a video. It's quite far back actually. It's like 2020, I think. And you just search for the title, which is awful. This is why I got so many views. I clickbaited it. Awful new It's a Small World music. It's 59 seconds of joy.
Right.
Back to business.
Yeah, what is business?
Well, just another one. Solo Show also asked if they do anything at DLP in the build-up for Easter.
Yeah. Well, yes. They have character meet and greets. They have the Easter Bunny meeting, I do believe, and they have some cute costumes for like Minnie and probably. Yeah. I remember Minnie in one. I'm presuming the other Fab Five have them as well. I've got a very distinct memory of Minnie. Maybe Daisy.
They've had eggs dotted about in the past, haven't they?
They've had eggs dotted around.
Whether they'll do that with it being the 30th grand finale this year, I don't know.
That's it. I mean, we've no guarantee. There was a time when they used to do the swing into spring season when it was like it was the theme of a whole season. We've nothing announced. I would imagine they would, but because it's not going to be a season, I think it'll be Easter week. I don't think it'll go much longer than that this year. And then who knows when they don't have 30ths to deal with. Who knows what they'll do then? So I don't know. Is the answer. We don't know.
I should just sit like this all the time, shouldn't I?
Chris is tilting his head so that the 30th logo gives him Mickey ears, listeners.
Right. Should we do some more news?
Oh, yeah, go on then. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
There was a hard ticket pin trading event.
Ooh, I saw some of these.
In the Tower of Terror. Goofy was dressed as a bellhop and hosting it. And they were giving away free pins from Hong Kong Disneyland.
Jealous.
And they could go on web slingers as well. And Avengers Campus looked really, really empty.
Yeah.
Because
it's a hard ticket thing, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Walking around Avengers Campus in the dark, no massive queues anywhere.
I mean, that's it. It's a hard ticket event in more. It's not just a pin trading thing, although it will attract the pin trading people. The pins they were giving away, I think they are pretty cool. And I would like to have it, but they were definitely kind of end of line pins that no one wanted because they were giving away like happy graduation 2018.
Oh, not fine.
Well, no, but I'd kind of be happy with that. I would either trade it for something I really wanted because I'm always after new pins, or I would just keep it as a novelty. But people were a little bit because it was like a really expensive event, I gather. However. Yes?
Go on. However, go on. Finish your point.
I wouldn't go even if I had the money.
I won't go if they paid me.
Even if I had the money and was free that day. Do you know why?
Because you don't like pin trading in DLP.
They sold the tickets online, Bertie.
Oh. Never mind. They tried.
And they sold out very quickly, I believe. As you can imagine, because it's Line Bertie and you kind of have to have this ninja-like instinct.
It's a lottery.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I think I would be like, oh, yeah, that looks good. I might go to that. Oh, how do I get tickets?
Too late.
Oh, I can't be bothered.
Yeah. As soon as you've thought, that sounds good, it's too late. Right. I've avoided getting involved in pins because it's like, and like, I have blindness to them because there's so many of them. I can't see them when I go into a shop, and I think I don't want to get involved because it'll become a whole thing. Mm-hmm. I bought a job lot of pins.
And you haven't shown me them yet?
No, there's about 6 of them that are any good. Oh. And there's some that are okay, and then there's some that are like, you're going to get rid of them pretty quickly. You know, like those ones that are all in the same sort of weird shape. Like square character,
like Funko Pop ones.
Oh yeah,
they
do egg-shaped ones as well, don't they?
Yeah, but there's these ones like it's like a sort of a rounded-off robot. I don't know what it is, but there's like got a few of those, and then there's some that are like clearly just scrappers, like not official at all. But I can still trade them at Disney World.
See, this is
not in Paris.
This is the point. I've bought job lots to trade and then almost been disappointed when I like some because the whole point is the fun of trading them. You want to get rid of them.
There's a handful that I like and I want to keep. But there were some that I will throw away because it would be an insult to trade them because they're that bad. It's like me saying, I want, like, it's like me going up to a pin trade and saying, look, I just want that for free. I'm going to give you this, but it's useless. So,
Hugh, those sound like the kind of things that you get behind though and want to have.
You need to bring them down. I can't believe I haven't seen these yet. I need to see them. I need to grade them.
Your pin trading collection that is so bad.
Yeah.
This sounds very Hugh to me.
Oh,
awful.
to get the worst pins.
Yeah.
I've
With
already
a terrible lanyard.
I've already got the bed knobs and broomsticks one. Because now I did my first video of my Disney World trip, and right at the start of it, again it's on my channel, but it's in a playlist on this channel as well somewhere. Anyway,
go watch it. It's good.
It's easy to find it on my channel, to be honest. But what was I saying? So near the start, there's a thing about this bed knobs and broomsticks pin that is on every single board, or one of its family. And now Lucy and Bonnie got me one as a joke last year, so I didn't actually say in this video that I do actually have that pin. So yeah, but anyway, check out the video. But what I was going to say was I'm going to do a second video about our trip, and then the third video because I think I'm going to run out of like footage. I'm going to also add on some DAS Pass information, some stuff about pin trading, and my haul video. So my third one, which is going to be like weeks away, is going to show the pins.
Ooh.
And it's going to be a bit more of a kind of a magazine show type of a video.
So you're not going to bring them down for the Patreon show after this so we can have a look at them?
Maybe. Do it on the Patreon show,
I want to
well,
see
that's
them.
the kind of thing the Patreon show's for, isn't it? You know,
that's what they pay for.
Early access to rubbish pins. That's what they pay for.
I really want to. I'm seeing some people saying, Aaron said, as the owner of around 100 pins, don't get any of them. It's a slippery slope. And
that's what I'm worried about, Aaron.
A few of the people saying similar things. I hold my hands up there. I started getting them for I always said I'd get my memories in pins. So like when me and Bonnie would do a group Disney bound, I would try get that pin, and I would always be looking for relevant pins to remember. And it has worked. I've got them all on a lamp, and I know when I bought them all. I would always get that. But then
a fabric lamp stuck to the lamp. You know, you must. You know that sounded weird. They're on a lamp. What?
Yeah. We've got a fabric lamp, and then
You've shown it in some of your videos.
I have. It was in a Vlogmas, I think. But I have to get, if I stay in a new hotel, I have to get a pin for it. I have to get the year. And then if we go for something like Festival of the Arts or Flower and Garden, I have to get the pin that goes with that. And I really feel now like I have to come back with like 4 or 5 pins that are like a shopping list that I need to do to remember.
We'll be in a
time.
shop in a resort, and she'll say, "I need a pin for this resort. I need it.
I need an Art of Animation pin. I just need one.
I need an Art of Animation pin."
And I do. It's like the thing. But also, it motivates me to stay at places like Art of Marvel Hotel, because I'm like, well, I haven't got that pin yet. Now, I don't have a Newport Bay pin because I stayed there before I started pin collecting. And I saw this week they've got a new...
It's nice, isn't it?
It's nice. But all my Disneyland Paris Hotel pins match. They're all the same size. They're all circles with keys dangling off the bottom.
Right.
And I'm collecting them. And if they've discontinued those and replaced them with fancy ones, I'm going to be a bit upset. Now, I hope that they're selling both. That would be the best thing. But I got very upset.
Emily says, do you have any job lot recommendations? Do you get them from eBay? I got it from eBay, yes. That's basically the only place I could find them. And they're not that cheap, really. I can't remember how much I paid. Maybe it was like £15 for about 20, something like that.
That is cheap, though, really. When
you got one for Lucas for his birthday a couple of years back, didn't you, as well?
Got him a job lot. Kept half, I have to admit, and then gave Lucas half. Well, I think I got like 30.
Basically.
Did I give you about 15?
Yeah, about that.
The half of them you get are kind of worthless, but they're for trading. But I feel a bit guilty because they're clearly not official. You can tell they're not official because the enamel on official ones fills right to the top, so it's kind of smooth to the touch, whereas the knockoff ones, the enamel doesn't fill to the top. Oh, are they always knockoff, or maybe the kind of rejects? Maybe.
No, I think the factory rejects. I don't think they're fakes. I don't think there's an industry of people faking Disney pins. I think the factory rejects.
But I used to think that the ones where it was bumpier felt more like realistic, and the smooth ones felt knockoff. But it's not actually the case. It just means the enamel's not filled to the top. Max has put the dodgy pins in the vault. Yes, in our prize vault that we're adding to.
Dodgy pins. Well done. Congratulations. You've won some
I
dodgy
do
pins.
like the idea of, like, Scottish Claire says, I'm assuming it's in relation to this, she just says, a terrible lanyard.
She was quoting me, I think, because that's what
Okay.
I said. I said, you need to get a terrible lanyard to go with
Get
it.
an awful lanyard.
Yeah,
And
really
just have
awful.
The worst
like a
pins.
knockoff Disney
So
lanyard.
whenever anyone kind of comes up and goes, oh, he's got some pins, and then they look up and down and they just go, oh, no. Oh, I like this. I like this.
See, maybe not awful. Maybe see if you can find a Kimber the Lion lanyard. Just to be a bit weird.
Main Street Princess has just totally burst my bubble. They've discontinued most of the hotel pins. I was missing the Newport Bay one. I got it as a gift and ended up, I think, buying it on eBay. Oh, no.
Oh, well, you have to go and then you'll have to get one.
Did I give you a Small World pin, which was a little Hawaiian dancer?
Yeah.
Oh, I was kind of hoping I'd kept it for myself.
You can have it back. It's all
you've got
kind
pin
of-
so
regret.
cool. It's so cool. I almost bought another one just for me.
My daughter just reached 1.2 meters. She's 6. Did Bonnie try Space Mountain? Too intense.
Yeah.
Having said that, she loves Guardians. Now I will
Yeah.
tell her that Space Mountain isn't as intense as Guardians, but I think she has in her head what
Because it's got a loop.
Probably.
She didn't want to go on Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and we were saying, but that's nothing. Like you've just been on
Big Thunder Mountain.
Big Thunder Mountain. You know that's fine, is that? But she did go on it eventually. Susie is staying at Newport Bay, so she's going to see if the pins are there.
Ooh.
That'd be
The
very
ones
handy,
I
Susie.
collect are like circular, sort of like frilly tea towel shape, and then they've got a key dangling off the bottom.
If they happen to have one, Susie, get it. And I will pay for it. Get it. I'll pay for it. But she's not allowed to have
I'm
it
not
until she's
allowed
staying
it.
at Newport Bay.
Yeah. So we've got Sequoia Lodge, David Crockett Ranch, Santa Fe, and Cheyenne. But we don't have the 3 poshest ones because we're skint.
Well.
One day.
Yeah. Voiceover guy says she did Tower of Terror and loved it. Now Bonnie did that and she hated it.
Did not go down well.
She did not
When
like
she
that
went
video.
down fairly well.
She
You
said,
know when you feel like really bad parents afterwards, and you're like, oh.
She said,
we
I'm
shouldn't
never
have
doing.
made
She
that
said,
film."
I'm never doing that again. I love that
Oh,
ride.
bless her.
But
It's so
it
good.
was quite funny. Sorry.
Oh, I especially like Sarah suggesting they recoil in horror at the terrible pins, like because they recoil in horror anyway in Paris. Let's be honest, when you're trying to trade, and if I rock up with the worst lanyard you've ever seen, you know, just like awful pin badges just hanging off it, yeah, this could be fun.
You can start a website as well, like awful pin
Worst-
trading,
worst
where
pin-
people can trade their awful pins for worse
I know
ones.
we've said this before, but I also know that we have new listeners listening or people just starting in and out. Pin trading in Paris is very different to pin trading in Walt Disney World. It's not as it's everywhere in Walt Disney World. It's very pocketed in Disneyland Paris, and they are very strict. They will check to make sure that you've got an original, authentic pin, and then they will only let you swap like for like. So you can't swap like a really premium, double-backed pin with moving parts for a Zum pin. They won't let you. It has to be on the same grade. You can still trade up at the Pueblo's trading post near the Pocahontas Playground. I think it's called the Frontierland Playground. But don't merrily rock up with your lanyard full of bed knobs and broomsticks and think that you're going to come away with some premium things, because
People
They'll just laugh at you.
need to look up the bed knobs and broomsticks pins. They're like rosettes with just metallic characters inside. They just look so drab. And for bed knobs and broomsticks, it's got these animal characters on, they're the drabbest pins, aren't they?
I kind of love them.
Well, I've got the red one.
Mm.
And you know what? If you start collecting those, well, it's a buyer's market.
Yeah.
Like at Disney World, they're literally on 80% of the boards, because I did a montage of them, and it's quite long, isn't it, on my video?
Yeah,
I did like a photo montage, and I actually stopped taking photos of them because I just had too many.
Guys, you're knocking the camera quite a bit. We're making people travel sick.
Sorry.
Oh, we're sorry. I'm going back to news.
Oh, there's news.
Well, not really, because
Big news. Dinoland USA.
Iger and Bob Iger and Josh Damaro visited the park this week for the 21st anniversary of Walt Disney Studios Park opening. The worst of the Disney parks, but it's getting better. It is getting better, and it's got Avengers Campus now. Now, because it's 21, which is not significant, and we're approaching new lands opening, we thought we were going to get big announcements. We told you guys this last week. We were all guessing what it was going to be.
Third land.
We messaged each other early in the morning, didn't you? Going, I'm keeping my eye on this. What's going on?
He's got Starbucks. He's got a Starbucks. He's not gone and queued an hour for a coffee. He's got himself a Starbucks in the village, or someone's got it for him.
And then nothing. They watched the parade. They went to Avengers Campus. They walked around a bit and pointed at some
Posed
things.
in front of concrete for a photograph.
Well, nothing that they've told us about.
Yeah.
Well, but we thought it was going to be a public announcement. They probably were like having very serious meetings with shareholders somewhere. I don't know, but
maybe they're looking to see if it was good enough. If it was going to be good enough without that extra park land adding.
However,
you know what I mean? Because then they might have looked and said, "This isn't good enough. We're going to need another land."
What I was interested in is, I'm worried about knocking the camera now.
Terrified.
Iger had his official photo taken in front of the construction site. And this is probably the best photo we've had in a long time of the actual construction site. Now, I'm not really able to show you it, but can we tweet this? I'm going to tweet it right now. So you guys talk.
And if you're listening later, we're going to put it under the hashtag 37 Disney Street Iger.
So there's some great stuff on there. There's I don't know if you can see it clearly from that picture, but you can see the canals for the boats for the ride for the Frozen ride that's being built. You can see all the buildings starting to go up in its concrete form. You can see the entrance where the floats are going to come out onto the lake for the evening spectaculars as well. So there's all this stuff there, and the lake itself's got full features now. You can see it looks like it's going to be a lake if it just rains a little bit of rain, a bit of British weather, and it'll look genuine. It's just really quite exciting because it feels like it's a lot further on than you maybe thought it was.
I just want to point out that when you put hashtag 37 Disney Street Iger, it comes out as Street Iger.
Street Iger.
Street Iger.
This is like Suzanne Boyle album party. What was it? Susan album party.
Or PenIsland.com.
I'll say no more. Susan album party. Just type that out.
Have you seen PenIsland.com? that is a pen website.
Yeah.
If you're able to get on that Twitter now with us, you can have a look at this. I mean, Chris has just described it beautifully, to be fair, so you probably don't need to now. But you can see the size and shape of the lake. Now, it does actually look a little bit smaller in the perspective on this than I was expecting. However, I've zoomed in and out a few times and looking at the tractors on the side, I think, oh no, it is massive. It's just the angle it's taken at, and Bob Iger's big. But what's exciting is you can kind of see some of the facades of the Frozen buildings and things.
There's quite a few other pictures been put up last week. I think I said last week as well on DLP Report and Inside DLP Castle. If you go on their Twitters and Facebooks, there's quite a few pictures of all this now.
And their
from
Twitters,
various drones and stuff. So
go on their Twitters.
Have a look around.
Yeah.
They'll tell you all about it.
I saw somebody who had a reliable rumour about the fourth land. Oh,
Big
Aaron
rumours.
They're probably very unreliable, but apparently, it's unreliable, not reliable. Third land is the Lion King, and they'll be adding Avatar as a fourth land. Okay.
From someone who apparently runs outside ears. The Solo Show says, my prediction is that they're looking at where the new Star Wars land is going to go. Announcement coming during Star Wars Celebration.
Would we all, Disneyland Paris fans, would we all still be happy with Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah.
I'd just be happy to know what was coming now. I feel like there's a gap, there's a hole.
Yeah.
And with Frozen Land getting pretty well on the way, and knowing that a lot of what's going to be there is presumably going to be the same as to the Frozen stuff that's been built.
I think there's logic to what the Solo Show says about Star Wars Celebration is coming. and they could announce it there. There's logic there. But also, we had pretty much given up hope on Star Wars Land. So there's some logic to what Aaron says, and I've heard a lot of rumours about The Lion King. It's all just rumours.
Sarah says, will it be the same Frozen ride they have in Epcot? I hope not.
People who've been zooming in on this.
I hope not.
People who've been zooming in on this photo forensically, as Disney fans do, have found like they can see the outside of what is going to be the ride building, and they can see like a trough that looks like it's a canal trough that you would have in a ride. So I think it's going to be a water ride. Do you know what? That might just be a red herring. There might be banisters to get you to the loos. We don't know.
Wait and see, shall we? Could
Exactly.
be foundations.
But somebody said that they've found this trough that looks like it's going to be a water-based ride, and they can prove it, and it's all this. So, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the same ride. I doubt it, though, and I'm going to tell you for why. Because the Frozen ride in Epcot was a repurposing of Maelstrom, wasn't it? So it got the original show building of Maelstrom. Now, they're building this from scratch, so I can't imagine that building it from scratch, they would build an old ride building for a new ride. I think it's going to be a new ride. However, I don't know what's in Frozen Land in Shanghai.
No.
Is it Shanghai or Hong Kong?
Hong Kong, I think.
Mel
Kong.
says the
And
rumor.
it's nearly built that as well.
The
So I think
rumour-
when we see that, I think it'll give us a very good indication of what we're going to get. That's what I would imagine.
Mel says the rumor included a water ride in the Lion King Land.
Oh.
A water ride in a Lion King Land.
A walkthrough of an elephant's carcass.
There's not much water in the Lion King. Am I wrong?
No, in fact, it's a big part of it is that they have a drought.
In the second half,
part of the
definitely.
story?
But there's not even a lot in the first half,
There's
is
a
there?
bit when they actually go to the water, isn't there?
They sing, "Can you feel the love tonight near a waterfall?" But I think that's a stretch.
Yeah.
I'm trying
I mean-
to think of like water rides that don't have like where there's no water in the franchise.
Yeah.
I still don't understand.
There is precedent, I
Wait,
suppose.
They didn't do.
Like the Frozen ride.
They didn't put Splash Mountain in Paris because it gets too cold there. I don't understand the idea of putting a Lion King land in Paris when it gets cold and wet.
Can
a
you
lot.
wait for that first freeze? Because it really freezes. Because it's inland, it really freezes in Paris. You get like ice skating fountains and stuff.
Is
don't
the
you?
Frozen ride a water ride?
Yes.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
It goes backwards. It scared me, Mum.
I find it uncomfortable. It bashes me around a bit, that ride. I always get like not a bad back, but I get bashed in the back and on the knees. I think it's overrated, that ride.
Ooh, Dunn family's going to Star Wars Celebration on Saturday. Woot woot. Bitch, do you know, I've always wanted to go to a really, really geeky convention. You know, like Comic-Con, but a proper, not like Thought Bubble. Like a proper, you know.
No, I thought Thought Bubble's huge now. It's one of the bigger ones.
And
It's a
Star
proper one.
Wars Celebration and all those kind of things. Even if it was just something a bit naff like Twilight. I just think there's something so cozy about them.
Interesting.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, we've got a visitor.
Hi.
You have to come on camera if
We
you're
have-
going to
we have a
visit us
tiny
at this
visitor.
time.
That's a rule. Say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you not sleep?
I couldn't find my dressing gown.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Right. I know where your dressing gown is. Right.
Okay.
I'll
Do you want to move on to
Bye.
the next pieces of news?
I'd love to.
I'd love to. Is it Bogs?
It's Bogs.
It's Bogs.
I'm just looking. I think that's it. We only had 4 bits, didn't we? So, what they're doing in Discoveryland, and they're trialling this, and the word trial makes me think they might do it at other toilets throughout the park, but they are, what's made you giggle then, the word toilets?
Trialing doing it in other parts. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It's just the toilets. Isn't it?
The toilet block near Autopia in Discoveryland, quite a high foot traffic one. There's 2 sides to the ladies' loos, and they've separated one of them off, and they are making it a unisex bathroom area. So then you've got half as many ladies' loos, unisex, and the men's loos have continued untouched. Of course, because of where it is also stated that the unisex loos would work as I don't know if I should say
Toilet humour.
say spillover, but
Trickle down.
they can be used by ladies in when the queues get long, because the queues do get very long at the ladies already. So I think basically the ladies' loos are now unisex.
Right.
Is the news.
There we are.
Yes. So I mean that's great for inclusivity, and I know if anyone does feel uncomfortable having to make that decision that they no longer have to, there is facilities for you. I personally think it's all a bit silly, and anybody who wants can come into my toilet. Because we ladies have cubicles, so if you know what I mean, I'm happy. So I just think, I don't know if it's making a problem more complicated, and I think we should all chill out and just be more inclusive as people, and then we don't have to
I'm a cubicle,
mess around with like this.
I'm a cubicle user anyway, and have been most of my life. I find it hard. I find it hard to understand the lure of a urinal standing next to somebody else.
I don't know why
that's
that's
out.
like.
It's a convenience.
At my work, there are 2 urinals and 2 cubicles. Now, if it's completely empty, I'll go to the go to the furthest away urinal, which has a little sort of privacy barrier. Every now and again, you go in, and someone is just brazenly stood at the first urinal, and you can see everything. Well, you could see everything if you were looking. Now, what's weird to me is if you go in there and someone is using one of these urinals, right? There's one spare urinal, 2 empty cubicles. They would choose to ignore the empty cubicles and come and pee next to you.
Yeah.
And they go, "You all right, mate?" And I think, no, I'm not.
I don't want to have a conversation.
Because you're having a wee
Just
right
wanna have a
next
wee.
to me. I don't think that's
So-
cool.
In conclusion, like, to me, the whole world should become unisex bathrooms, because we should all be in cubicles anyway, because I agree. I've obviously never used a urinal, but they're gross, and the men's toilets stink.
Disgusting.
And I just think the whole world should be unisex bathrooms.
Well, certainly, if you've got a small space, and the small spaces where the urinals should be, and the big spaces where all the cubicles should be, and the cubicles should be available for anybody to use, and that's problem solved, isn't it? But yeah.
Aaron says, very, very glad to have unisex bathrooms in the parks. As a non-binary person, going to the toilet DLP has always been a bit stressful. Well, I'm really, really glad about that, Aaron. I am. And if it's that comfort that this gets, that you no longer have to make that decision, and you no longer have to feel a little bit self-conscious, that's exactly what should happen. But it's for that reason, Aaron, that I just think we should all have unisex bathrooms, and that people get silly about it. I just think people get silly about it, personally. It's like, let's all just chill the heck out and share and love each other and hold hands, but not before you wash them.
Yeah,
Because you've just been to the toilet,
and not
please.
during.
And not during. not
Never?
not under the cubicle doors. That would also be bad.
That's never acceptable.
Ally McBeal for the win. Exactly. And that was the 90s. This conversation came up with my rather questionable brother-in-law at Christmas. We had unisex toilets in the 90s, and the swimming baths have got unisex changing villages, and nobody bats an eye. Anyway. That's my
enough
thing.
toilet talk
I
for
know.
today.
The Solo Show says, I make my own shirts. What was it? Made from vintage Star Wars bed sheets.
Ooh.
I'll be wearing shirts made from vintage Star Wars bed sheets. That's dedication. And
Is
dedication.
this at the convention or at
Is
the
what you need.
toilets?
Oh, I don't know. No.
Or both?
They also said if you could come to celebration, I'll bring you Sour Celebration. I'll bring you some Canadian drinks for your Tiki Cups. Sounds good.
We're not going to get down there, though, are we?
No.
Unfortunately.
I just want to... I'm taking you back to the toilets, guys. I'm sorry. But Lauren has said it makes it much easier for taking my son, who is 9 and autistic, to the toilet without funny looks. That's another good point. And my first point was, oh, good, Hugh can take Bonnie to the toilets.
Yeah,
because I always have to take Bonnie to the
but
toilet.
I don't mind,
know.
but I used to take her when she was younger. But I just... Men's toilets... restrooms are so disgusting that I don't like to take her in there, because the foul places, especially like in a train station or a bus station, they are. You don't want to know what goes on in there, ladies. It's terrible.
And Solo
There's
Show
just pee
says,
all over the floor. It's this. We're
Yeah.
horrible.
Solo Show says someday they will all be unisex, and we'll look back and see how silly this was. I think that's a definite possibility. It's that I don't know if I was a bit like this when I read out the news. It's more because I think the 3 options is the daft bit to me, if they'd said the toilets near Autopia are now unisex, given that all the other toilets are segregated, I'd be like, oh, fair play, that's good. So you can go to the ones in Discoveryland, not happy with that. You go to ones in a different land, but it's this kind of, and the thing, and let's all just pee in peace. Just pee in peace. There we go. I've said my piece about
I like
pee.
to scream when I pee.
I've heard you.
Just a constant screaming.
Oh, dear. Do you know, sometimes I wonder how I got here. You know what I mean? I'm here giving my public opinion on toilets and my husband's screaming next to me and I don't know who asked me. Nobody asked me. Let's move on. Do you want to know
Trip reports to do.
Yeah, let me tell people how I accidentally priced up a Disney cruise thing because I teased that earlier. Or do you want to do the trip reports? Do the trip reports.
Trip reports. You've got
We'll
time
do
for
that
it.
on Patreon.
Audience trip roundup.
We've got a few things today, actually. We've had quite a lot of questions, so I might dip in with those first, and then we'll go through Matthew's trip report afterwards. So, here we go. First up, this is from Sandra. Sandra emailed us saying, "Hi guys, always watch our DLP show on catch up. I never make the live, but we are off to DLP for the first time as a family in 21 days. My
Thanks for
oldest son is
listening.
8 and a bit scared of everything, so we'll have to break him into the rides gently. I was just wondering if you knew much about the Animation Academy thing. I can't find much about it. Do you know if it runs constantly throughout the day or if it's one of those things that'll randomly open?"
I know this. Can I take this?
Please do.
I believe that it is timed every kind of... It's fairly regularly, like every 40 minutes or something, a new one will start, and it's just the first people to hop on the seats, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any kind of fast pass you can get. I don't often see a queue for it either. It's like, oh, there's another one starting in 5 minutes,
But
sit
what's
down.
right next door to it if it is busy at the time you turn up?
Is the Zoetrope.
Go spend 15
Make sure
minutes
you go-
looking at that and then...
And
jump
there's often a seasonal meet and greet in there, like at Christmas there was Olaf and things like that. So there's usually a meet and greet in there for whatever reason as well.
What is it for those people who don't know what it is?
Yeah, they say a real Disney animator. I don't think they're real Disney animators. I think they are random cast members. But they teach you how to draw a Disney character. So they give you like a framework sheet, usually like a circle with a cross on it, you know, like when you did art at school. And then they talk you through, right, put a curve that goes from this axis up to there. And then if you do a little flick on there and you draw it, and then you come away and you've drawn a Disney character. I absolutely love doing it as someone who cannot draw at all. I feel a real sense of achievement afterwards and I always feel dead pleased. I find it quite relaxing in the middle of a busy park day to just sit and do something like that. Hugh is a professional illustrator and you have different thoughts.
Busman's Holiday.
I don't mind doing it. I don't mind doing it.
It's just not exciting.
It's interesting to me because it's always a character that I haven't drawn before, so it's nice to just sit and do it. But it's just very easy for me. But
Yeah.
I normally finish early, and then I can just add shading and detail that other people haven't got around to yet.
I think it's open 11 till 5. I think that's what I saw when I was looking earlier in the week when I read the question. But it's very timely that you asked this question because this week they've also announced that they have
It's
added
closed.
some new drawings into it.
Yeah.
So you can now also draw Cheshire Cat, Jack Skellington, Dopey, Chip and Dale. I don't know who you could draw previously, but they've been added in this last week.
I think you can find the times on the app as well. I'm just looking.
Yeah, I think that's where I looked. I think it was 11 till 5 or 11 till 3.
But I mean the actual times
I'd
that
like
the
to
next-
draw-
Timings
that the
are
next
possibly,
one
yeah.
starts.
I'd like to draw Mushu.
That's it there, yeah. Mushu?
That'd be a good one to do.
That would be good, wouldn't it? Mushu was my first experience of Disneyland Paris because I went into that very building when it used to have the 3 cinema screen things in that the Frozen thing is now.
Yeah,
And Mushu introduced the whole thing.
that's right. Yeah, I remember that. We only went in there once, didn't we?
It was slightly better than than Jeremy Irons on the tram tour.
No, it doesn't give you the exact times. It just says 10 till 5. Sorry about that. But yeah, just go in and ask the cast members and kill time looking at the Zoetrope. That's my piece of advice.
Ready for another question?
Yep.
Question the second. And this one is from Carol. I love the show and I've learned so much already for my trip in July. I'm at 113 days out from a once-in-a-lifetime trip from the USA. I'll be spending a little over a week on a river cruise from Paris to the coast and back with my 2 sisters before heading to DLP for 3 nights.
Fancy.
At the end of our trip. We'll be joined there by my niece and her fiancé and my nephew and my best friend. I have a few things set so we have one meal together each day, including lunch at Waltz on our last day. I do have a few questions. So here they are. One of my sisters has mobility issues and I'd like to rent a wheelchair for her. I've heard all the tales about accessibility challenges at DLP, but we're wondering if there are places to rent wheelchairs that would deliver and pick up from Hotel New York, where we'll be staying, so we can use the wheelchair outside the parks. Also, since this is a special trip and we don't have a lot of time, I've splurged on a VIP tour for our first full day at the parks. The tour will be a surprise for everyone and I can't wait. That's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the obvious things like Phantom Manor, Big Thunder, Crush, Space Mountain and Avengers Campus, are there other things you'd want to make sure you include if you're on a VIP tour?
Now, my question there would be, does the VIP tour give you like behind the scene information? Because then I would like, well, I want a tour of the castle, please. Or is it like a skip the lines with an escort kind of thing?
I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? So I think you kind of get fast passes for a lot of the major rides while you're doing your VIP tour, don't you? But you can dictate to a certain extent where and what you do, I think.
Well, for me, I'd be all about tell me every Easter egg on Main Street and then give me a tour of the castle. That would be me, because I'd be like, history.
Yeah, because that's like a condensed space of lots of things happening, whereas if you went into Adventureland, there'd be plenty to talk about, I'm sure, but there isn't like, and then next door to that, there's this dentist, and if you listen to, you can hear that, and then next door to that, there's this hairdressers, and it means that this is going on, like on Main Street.
If you're then going to, like, the next day not have a VIP tour so you don't get the fast pass.
Well, that's an interesting thing to say, because what she's actually said is that for their last day, they have Premier Access as well, so they'll get to do all the rides, I guess, on both those days that they want to.
You're going to be storming. You're going to be absolutely storming. I might put things like, not that it's the best ride, but I might put things like Autopia on there because you just don't want to queue for it. It is a good ride. It's better than Florida, where they have the Tomorrowland Speedway. So make sure you do Autopia. But it's a grim queue. So it's less, like, to me, it's the best rides. It's more the get rid of the queues and just get straight on and do it at your leisure kind of thing.
Flight.
Peter Pan's Flight, definitely. Well, definitely anyway, because that is like an absolute staple of Disneyland Paris. So Peter Pan's Flight, Autopia would certainly be on my list. Did she say stuff like Pirates?
No, didn't say Pirates, but yeah, Pirates would definitely be one as well.
Yeah.
The wheelchair question, we don't know, do we? So we're throwing it out. If anyone knows, are the companies that will drop off and pick off to the resort? Was the question, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hotel New York.
I've said this before, but I imagine so. But when I've said that before, when voiceover guy was asking us about allergy, and I was going, I'm sure it'd be fine. It wasn't fine. So best to ask people who do know, because we have no experience of this.
Yeah, I'll just throw it out. We are enthusiastic holiday makers, basically. We're not travel agents and experts on certain things like that. So we love to share like our favourite this and what we think you should do for that. But when it comes to what worries me most is giving out bad information rather than giving out no information. But what we'll do in this situation, if ever you have questions like this, is we'll usually say, if any of our listeners know the answer, get in touch and see if we can help.
We have done this
Carol.
See if we can help Carol.
We have done this in Florida, which is maybe off the back of that. They're wondering if we've
we did.
But that was the only time we did it with Lucy's mum in Florida a few weeks ago. So.
And we rented a wheelchair from an external company and they dropped it off.
Not in Paris.
It wasn't in Paris.
Just the other thing that if you know the answers to any of these questions, a bit like Pamela has done in the chat.
Yes.
If you've got an example of a video, another vlog that maybe has that information, let us know and we'll make sure we read that out. So what Pamela's just said is that Sam Forgotta's got a video of the VIP tour that might be interesting. So Carol, if you want to know more about the VIP tour and what it entails, then you can go and check that out on Sam Forgot.
Number four. God. Friend of the show, I like to think. I hope so.
Yeah. She was on last week, wasn't she? She was in the chat last week.
Yeah, she's great. Sam.
Now,
We love
guys, I'm very conscious that the Mjolnir of failure is due to make an appearance.
That's definitely something
Around about
most people
now.
won't know what we're talking about, but that's just for us.
Yes, it is just for us, but we have mentioned it before.
Yeah.
When we reach the hour mark, Hugh very subtly tells us that we've reached the hour mark.
By placing a tiny Mjolnir hammer down. It used to be a unicorn.
We have 6 minutes, but I don't think I can get through a trip report in 6 minutes. So do I carry on with the questions and we trip report next time?
Well, there's a question here for all three of us.
Ooh.
And
From
also,
Emily.
I do want to say, Mel said, just before I forget, that they'd been writing a trip report since September. Finally finished it. It's 26 pages long. Don't think I'll be sending it. I mean, if you can get that down to a page, that'd be perfect.
Again, this sounds like my hellish academia.
I think we learnt last week that 1,000 words is just acceptable. So anything
Yeah.
under 1,000 words is good.
Okay. Yeah,
I can try, says Mel.
Emily says, random question. Chris, Hugh and Lucy, have you been or plan to go to Disneyland, California?
Yes.
No and yes.
Yeah.
We haven't been. We want to go.
Laura and I have priced it up 3 or 4 times. Every time we price up Walt Disney World, we price up California at the same time because we always think, well, actually, for us and how we are, we'd probably prefer to go and do that and have another 2, like go there for a few days and have a couple of weeks in on that coast. And
That's what we were going to do.
that sort of stuff. I think that's what we'd want to do, and yeah. So at some point, I think that's something we'd love to do.
So the plan with us was we did Disneyland Paris in 2019. We were going to do it again in 2020, and then we were going to have a break in 21 so that we could do California for my 40th in 2022. This was, you know, your 5-year Disney plan that we all make. Mm-hmm. This is what we're going to do. And then COVID hit, and our 2020 holiday was rescheduled and rescheduled and rescheduled. And then I ended up buying DVC with the money of that rescheduled holiday. So by the time we finally got to go, it was my 40th when we had planned to go to California. But by then I was a DVC owner. So we went back to Florida to use all our lovely juicy DVC points. And now we're a bit... and then my mum and dad wanted to go to Florida. So we used our DVC points to take my mum and dad to Florida. And now I don't know where it leaves us because we're looking at booking Florida again, aren't we?
Lucy, that was exhausting.
I know. But the point is that we should have gone by now. It was nailed on. We were meant to be going, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Mark Chester says the internet states that wheelchairs can be hired within the park, €20 per day.
He actually
She did say she wanted to
He
use
actually
it
said
outside
Tinternet.
of
The
the park.
internet.
The Tinternet. She said she wanted to be able to use it outside the park.
But then it might be worth trying to give maybe call the hotel itself, speak to the people at the hotel at DLP, and see if they can give you any advice. That would be a good way to go, I would think.
I think that's a good idea because when we did do it in Florida, there was one company that was allowed to like drop off at Bell Services and that they had a relationship with, and then all the other companies you had to meet at the gate. So the company that we didn't realise, the company we used, we had to meet the guy. So it's good to know which companies the hotel has got the relationship with.
Andrew Palmer says, don't just go to Anaheim, do Santa Monica, LA and Universal. Not worth the flight alone. You'll struggle to see the differences with Paris.
Yeah. No, we're definitely going to do like a whole tour.
Yeah, we were. We were going to... Well, at one point I was on about renting an RV and going up to Yosemite and stuff, and then I got the heebie-jeebies. I thought, I don't really want to do that.
Solo Show's got a good suggestion. We should plan for D23 Expo in 24 and do Disneyland at the same time.
Oh, we could expense that.
Expense it.
Yeah. How many patrons would we need to fly 3 of us over to D23?
Start saving now.
Thing
guys.
is Disneyland really, really busy that weekend? Realistically, would it be like the worst weekend to go, not the best? I don't know. Solo Show, you are I say local. You're not local at all, but you're on the same continent. You couldn't be further back, but you're on the same continent. Do you know? Anyway.
So we were chatting the other day, maybe last week, maybe a couple of weeks before you went away, about things to do when you're in DLP and how people use the time. And Trude's or Lie has written and said, hi, just listened to your latest podcast episode and I have a tip for what to do when in the parks. We love to look for hidden Mickeys. We found several in both the parks and hotels. The first time I knew of them was when I saw one in the paintings at the Newport Bay Club. They're usually shaped as Mickey's heads, but on Adventureland, I've also found one of Mickey's silhouette. Happy hunting. Well, we've talked about these before. The thing
Yeah.
that was interesting, though, I had a bit of a chat with her, and she said, and she asked the question, have you guys seen the one that you can only see from the top of the best castle in Paris?
No.
I'm assuming that's Sleeping Beauty's. That's the
Queen of Hearts Castle.
Castle, which makes me want to go climb it and find it.
Yeah. Now, but thing is, you could be looking, because there's a lot to see it from that view,
Yeah.
isn't
I've
there?
got a fairly panoramic video of that. I bet we could find it.
Ooh, well, there you go.
That's exciting.
There is a challenge
Yeah.
for us.
We'll leave it there.
What next? Jenny Weir's been in touch. Jenny says, let me just make sure this isn't an old message.
Sorry, I just blatantly yawned on mic. And I was like, and I thought, what am I doing?
Jenny says, Hugh, why are you so bored with my messages?
Oh.
No,
Well-
she didn't. She says, a question for Sunday if possible. We're looking at accommodation for our Christmas trip this year. We want a lounge area because we're there 23rd to the 27th of December and want space to take a little tree and
Sequoia.
decorate, and Father Christmas to be able to get in and not wait the boys. The obvious choice was Davy Crockett, but I've just come across Village Nature where we could have a premier apartment which looks amazing for the same price. However, for some reason, a 4-night stay is only includes 2-day park tickets. Do any of you know why? Have any of you been there? If so, do you just pay extra for extra park tickets? Wondering if it's better to just book the accommodation and then just park tickets separately. Always seems more expensive to me. Now, before you answer this question, we had a bit of a chat about this. She says booking villages on its own website plus then booking 4 days of park tickets separately for our dates is way cheaper. Interesting. So it's cheaper to book 4 park day tickets and Villages Natures. I would still appreciate a little chat about the place, but I'm less confused now. I've done a bit of research. It's still weird that they only offer 2 days tickets in those packages.
I think that's deliberate because it's the kind of if you do
Partnership,
go
isn't
there, it's partnership. But if you do go there, it's a resort in itself. Now we went for 7 days, and we did spend 2 full days at the resort, and we could have. It's centre parks basically. You could spend the whole week just at the resort. So I think they kind of know when people book it that they're probably going to want a resort day, which you wouldn't want at other places. And so if you book 7 days, they give you 5 days tickets. If you book 4 days, they give you 2 days tickets. They always give you 2 days less tickets.
Do you choose which days you go?
Yeah, you don't have to know.
So you can just...
The flexible. But we
would you have to
we
book-
went post-COVID, so we had to book a park reservation.
Yeah.
But that's because we had annual passes.
What did your friends do? Oh, you bought tickets for them, did you? Or did they buy the package?
No, they bought tickets separately, so they'll have been dated tickets because they bought them separately. I don't know the answer to that, because we went post-COVID with annual passes, so we booked park reservations. I don't know. I'm sorry.
We don't know, Jenny. We don't know the answer to that question.
We don't know, but that's why. And I would also, anyone who's thinking of booking it, I would lean into that because it would be a shame to stay at Village Nature and not spend a full day in the water park, to be honest, and doing miniature golf. And we built a bivouac. It were amazing.
Yeah,
The best
Bonnie
day.
loves a bivouac. I think we should do that for her birthday party this year.
That's a great idea.
I know it is. I've set a reminder for like July to or June or something to remind me. What was I going to say? Disney Bride says, "Hi all, love Hugh's Disney vlog on YouTube. By the way, thanks very much for that, Disney Bride 2013." And Lewis always says nice things on my vlogs, so thanks for those, Lewis. Appreciate the love for my videos.
One last message before we shoot?
Yes, we haven't had time for a trip report, have we?
No, we haven't. I'm sorry again, but
there's been
it's
lots
just how it goes.
to chat about.
There has.
which is-
So this is from Rosamund. She just says, I've booked the Eurostar today for our trip in July. Trainline hasn't given much time for connecting trains in Lille. Will this be a problem? I've booked the whole journey, London through to Marne-la-Vallée via Lille in one booking. Also, on your recommendation, we've got 2 nights in Resid Home to explore Paris and then on to Golden Forest at the Sequoia Lodge for 4 nights. 10th visit to DLP and still holds all the magic. It's an interesting question about Lille because just because I was flicking through some Facebook things and someone asked a very similar question. Apparently, some of the trains get there with about 30 minutes to switch, and some get there with about an hour and a half. But from what I understand, it's quite a small train station, isn't it? So it's not too difficult to get from one platform to the other. Is that right? You've been there, haven't you?
It's massive.
Yeah, it is quite big.
Oh, is it massive?
But
Yeah.
the thing is, I don't think there's many train lines, but because it's international trains, the trains are massive.
Platforms are so
You know when
long.
you go down a platform and you go in A, B, C, and you're in coach R. It's
Right,
it's
okay.
that kind of length. So it really, I think, going up an escalator across into another escalator isn't the hard bit. It's going the length of the train.
Yeah.
I think there might only be 4 platforms though, as in 2 train lines. Do you know what I
We
mean?
missed a connection though because of the delays
Yeah.
on the in London. But we just went into the office and they just gave us a ticket for the next one.
Cool.
I'm not saying they can always do that, but it seemed pretty standard.
Rosamund,
did
you've
that.
not told us how long you've got between your changes, but
We had like an hour and a half once, and it was just long enough for us to just have to sit in this waiting room and be bored, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
If
just too long.
when you say a short connection, I've tried to make connections in like Leeds train station with 4 minutes to spare, and got it. I would say
jump on as the door shut. and it
you would
goes.
struggle in Lille with those kind of connections. But if you've got 15 minutes, it's fine. I wouldn't worry at more than 15 minutes. You just get from one place to the other. It should be okay. Do we have to do border control there? No, because you've done it in London. No, you're fine. You're fine. I think.
There you go. But also, we don't like to give out bad information, so we think. Just remember, disclaimer. We might
She'll
be
be on her knees in Lille train station going, Lucy!
Why 37
Damn
Disney
you!
Streets? Right then. Can I just say, by the way, we had a right good time last week on the Patreon show because we did our first film review in an absolute age, in nearly a year. Not quite a year, but nearly a year. And it was a lot of fun. And we had some of you in the chat, and that made it even more fun. And it's there and it's available on the 37 Disney Street Classic podcast if you want to have a listen to it. And we'll be doing more as well. At the moment, our Patreon Disney Street polls are casting votes on whether they want the next film to be Return to Oz, The Reluctant Dragon, or Blackbeard's Ghost. And at the moment, it's neck and neck.
Literally.
They all have the same number of votes. So we'll be making a decision on that hopefully in the next show when we finish now.
So patrons, do cast your votes. Where do they cast the vote?
On Patreon, on the post that I posted it. Go and have a look at the post, what I posted, where the poll is, and cast your vote in the poll. Mm-hmm. Just like that. And then we'll make a decision pretty soon, and that's the next film we'll do.
Yeah.
Good, eh? Right.
Exciting. Yep.
Right, thank you all very much for joining us. I've been Lucy, these have been the boys. Goodbye.